Hi guys, Rishi Sunak seems most comfortable speaking with business leaders, but the problem for the Prime Minister is that he backed Brexit, and most companies that import and export are not happy with how the exercise is going. Case in point, Gerry Murphy from the luxury brand Burberry, who raised 2 points: the problem of Brexit itself, but also that the UK doesn't provide VAT returns, which other European countries do, and thus puts Britain in a worse position competitively. Anyway, the Prime Minister was here speaking to business leaders in London on Monday, and instead of answering the question about the damage Brexit is doing, he talked about listening.
About 90% of our business is exporting. It is somewhat perverse that on the day that we left the single market, a decision by, I think it was by you as Chancellor, to remove the VAT refunds for tourists made the UK the least attractive shopping destination in Europe. And that is the case today. Virtually every other major destination in Europe offers VAT refunds. And we can see in our business, because we trade in Paris and in Munich, we can see the rate of recovery from COVID in those markets as well as the UK. And the UK is by far the weakest recovery of all those major markets. We are actively exporting business as a result of that policy to our continental competitors. So I would ask you, in the spirit of making Britain a more competitive environment, in the spirit of fostering growth, and not just in the luxury industries, it knocks on to travel, to hotels, airlines, airports, to reconsider that decision. We told the Treasury at the time that we know our customers. We literally have their email addresses and phone numbers, and we could predict with some certainty what the behaviour would be if this policy was enacted. And this so is playing out. We didn't see much impact on our business for the last couple of years because there wasn't much tourism and other business coming back in space. So I would ask you and the Chancellor to revisit this. It was a bad decision, made for the right reasons. I understand the fiscal imperatives, but we would urge you to look at this. Leaving the EU has had a significant friction effect on trade, hopefully not forever for all the reasons you mentioned, but it is the case today that it's a drag on growth. So we would ask you to look at this specific one. This is a spectacular own goal that can be reversed by a decision from you or from the Chancellor. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that's why we're here. We're here to listen, right? And when I had Jeremy's job, I made it a policy not to talk about tax policy live in front of lots of people, and I'd probably prefer it if I didn't do that either. But no, we'll take that away, and rather than rehash all the details for it now, I'm sure actually we can pick it up later in the day. But there were good reasons for it, and I'm happy to. We'll happily see all the data because we're always happy to look at what's happening on the ground and see if things are panning out as we expected them to or not. But your broader point, though, is an important one about listening and engagement. And hopefully you guys can see from today's event that we really take this seriously.
We take it seriously. So I was asked a question about 2 points. The fact that Brexit is a drag on exports. And he said here 90% of his business is exports. And the VAT returns. And what did Rishi Sunak say in response? Yeah, we're listening. Now, I don't know the motivation behind the ending of the VAT returns. As pointed out by the business leader here, this would be beneficial for the businesses. But remember what Boris Johnson said about business. And who was Boris Johnson's Chancellor at the time? This guy on the screen here. So this was a decision made by Brexiteers. We're going to make it more difficult for businesses to be competitive with our European neighbours. They have continued with VAT returns, and we're not. But the point here, of course, of Brexit, Rishi Sunak, I really don't understand why he continues to defend Brexit. Is it ideological? Is it in some way that he's benefiting from it, or his disaster capitalist friends are benefiting from it and that's why he's defending it? Why is he going to meet with business leaders who a lot of them he knows are exporters and are struggling and are suffering, and they've had to lay off staff? Maybe not Burberry, but smaller ones for sure. And he continues to push this, yes, everything is good, nothing to see here, no problems. And the fact that he responds by saying, yeah, we're listening. Well, you're not listening. You haven't been listening over the last number of years. As Gerry Murphy said, we have your email address. We've been contacting you. We've been telling you don't do this. And now you turn around and say we're listening? Makes no sense whatsoever. Will some changes take place? I don't know, because as Brexit is a drag on the economy, it's difficult for the Treasury to cut VAT or to reduce taxes or whatever, because they understand that if you do that, there's less money for the exchequer, there's less money for public services. And if you have less money for public services, it's very difficult to grow the economy. So once again, the elephant in the room, Brexit, and I'm not trying to blow this out of proportion, but it's a massive drag on the economy. And business leaders are saying this. Business leaders before Brexit were saying this. And they've been proven correct. But no major political party wants to talk about rejoining the EU. And until that happens, the drag will continue. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.